Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Cradle of Liberty. This is Episode 7, Dragon and Shadow. This is a continuation of last week's episode, so if you missed that, you absolutely shouldn't be here, because we are going to continue on exactly where we left off, as if we never left at all. Marius, hi. You're on the arm of Deneb Osborne, the regent of the Hartford Chantry, leading him out to the main hall of the Elysium from the private conference room where you found him. It's here that you see Lasher, and to put it bluntly, molesting the mouthhole of one of these flesh-crafted monsters. Completely entranced, and you may approach him if you wish, but Deneb will be within earshot if you do so. And I should note, Marius, that although your sire followed you out of the conference room, they don't seem to be within your eyeline at the moment.
I'll leave them be. They seem a little preoccupied.
So you don't want to talk to Lasher?
No, I just wanted to make sure I saw, them at least.
Okay. Then, would you like for Lasher not to see you?
Yeah.
Okay. So make me a composure and stealth, or a dexterity and stealth, whichever's higher for you. Oh, it's an awareness for him. Not super great, but he's very distracted.
All right, big money, no whammies. One just fell. I'm just gonna grab another one.
Grab another one.
All right, that is 2 successes.
You rolled 4 successes. So he does see you, and with one of his fingers still in the mouth hole of this monster, he says, Marius, have you seen this thing? Look at it! He starts shouting at you across the room.
That is a sight, dear.
And Deneb sort of looks at you. Is that a friend of yours?
More than a friend, but yes.
Would you like to introduce me? I assume that you will be holding a high position in the chantry. Should this deal come through, I would like to know who you'll be associating with.
Of course. And just kind of feels defeated with it, kind of trails off, but does take a gallant swoop over to Lasher.
And as you get closer, Deneb sees Lasher, and immediately you see his look of disgust on his face. But Lasher doesn't seem to care or notice, and you see Lasher has transformed his face to sort of look like a sun with boned spikes. And he immediately hugs you, again, the finger still in the mouth hole. And he says, Marius, you have to tell me who did this. I am entranced. I am inspired. Who made these creatures?
Likely the host of the party. I'm sure you'll run into her eventually.
I would love it if you point me out. Who is your friend? He looks like he has smelled bad cheese.
But he's an esteemed guest of mine, and I'm happy to introduce you. This is Lasher. Very close.
And Lasher pulls his finger out of the hole and sort of shakes the blood off and uses that hand to shake his hand. And Deneb sort of looks up and down at him and doesn't take the hand. And he says, you are of the clan of the dragons, I see. How wonderful. Marius, interesting company that you keep.
It takes all kinds.
Certainly. Does he possess any of our secrets? And he looks very pointedly at you.
Beyond the secrets that is me, no. Just...
Well then, I think I will, what is the phrase? Take a turn about the room. Suddenly lost my appetite.
Oh, I apologize.
And he leaves, and you have a moment alone with Lasher if you'd like to take it, who has gone back to touching this monster. Feeling up and down its arms.
Are you having fun?
I mean, I wasn't having any fun at all until I really got the look at these creatures. I thought this was some sort of, I don't know, like animatronic or something, some sort of. I met a clan before who could make illusions, and I thought it was something like that. But this is really here. It's really here.
How much experience do you have with your clan?
Well, let's see. I met my sire. She sort of ambushed me. She held me captive for 2 nights and then abandoned me. And she told me that she was sorry and that it was just to throw off someone else, that she was hiding or running from someone else, and so then I was just an up for a victim, she said. So.
Oh, well, yeah, this is a hallmark of the dragons, quote unquote. If you do run into the Sumitsi Primogen, please be careful.
Is she the one who made these creatures?
Yes, she did.
Well, I promised Junebug that I would not stay long, that I would come back to check on her, so I was planning on leaving. But I think I will say a thank you to the Primogen before going.
You know, if that's the case, I would just prefer you go back to Junebug and I can extend that message myself.
I cannot, Mari. I have to. You don't understand it. You don't know what it feels like to mold and shape flesh with your own hands, with your own mind, with your own will.
I took a ceramics class once. I think that's the same thing, isn't it? No?
It's just you saying that says everything that I need to know about how much you understand.
Here I thought you tutoring me was going to help.
I'm tutoring you in art, which you really don't need. But if you want to learn how to mold and shape flesh, you need only ask.
No, I thought that was me connecting with you. I think we're rambling at this point, but I'm happy to see you connecting. But look, she's fucking dangerous. And I'm not saying that in a playful, ooh, she's dangerous. I'm saying this, she's dangerous.
Well, I mean, what are you saying? You're saying she's going to hurt me.
I'm not saying it's out of the question.
I'm not saying that if she wanted to make me an installation of her art piece that I wouldn't let her. I would consider it to be a mighty, powerful elevation of my own being.
He's just gonna grab Lasher by the jaw and just waggle his face a couple times. You are too cute for your own good.
Yeah, you always say that, but then you all the time want to tell me, don't do this and don't do that. But I think the things that I do make me cuter.
Oh, you got me there. But, look, if this weren't less hostile, less tense times, I would be all for you establishing with other Sumitsi. But right now, if I can see you leave with my 2 eyes, I would be very happy.
I always want to make you very happy, Mari, but I also like it when I make you mad, because then we get to make up afterwards. Huh?
How about I pretend to be mad next time I see you?
It's not the same. It's just like you saying ceramics is equal to flesh crafting. And as he starts rambling off again, there is sort of a movement happening towards the front of the Elysium here. And you see someone enter into the room. Many someones. It seems to be a woman with 4 women flanking her on either side. And based on the research that you've done, you would recognize that this is Madeline Coventry. And you can even see Deneb sort of stand at attention in his white linen suit, like he's a rich dad on vacation. Sort of stand at attention that another Tremere has arrived. The leader of the Sisters of Salem, the Salem Chantry.
And the second half of my swooning has arrived, so I love you. Ultimately, the choice is yours, but I would like to see you in one piece, okay?
So boring, one piece. And he sort of sads away into the crowd.
I hate that, man. Peels off.
Everyone who is present here can see the entry of Madeline Coventry, and she makes a beeline right for Deneb, Marius, you notice. She's wearing a robe that is split down the middle in color, one side white, one side purple. She's also wearing a mask that's sort of like a veil of dried verbena. She has very wild red hair. The women who are flanking her are all dressed in purple robes and purple veils. You don't know what they look like. They just have sort of feminine figures to them. And she makes a beeline right for Deneb. And she stops as she reaches you right before she reaches Deneb and looks at you. "Hello, fellow witch," she says.
Good evening, ma'am.
I could tell just from your smell that you are a child of Dejon, although I don't see him anywhere here. How interesting.
He's, busy emoting, I'm sure. I'm Marius Wise. The honor's all mine.
Yes, and I can see Deneb is chomping at the bit to speak to me. But I would like to, get this meeting over and done with as quickly as possible. I did make the long trek here from Salem.
Of course, ma'am. We have a conference room. We can all speak privately.
I would like you to take me there then. And if you don't mind, I would also like to meet the hosts of this party. I also heard that you have an Anarch sympathizer in your coterie. At least that's what Dejon said. I'd like to speak with them as well. And of course, anyone else
ma'am.
you'd like to bring along.
And, of course, in what order would you like to speak to them?
Oh, let's get this over with as quickly as possible, so all at once would be wonderful.
Yes, ma'am, of course. He does offer his arm to lead her to the conference room.
She looks at your arm. That won't be necessary.
And I take willpower damage. Just slides that back in, takes a nod, and goes straight for the conference room.
Yep.
And then once she's there, gonna start hurting everybody.
And as you leave, you sort of hear Deneb say, like, "Oh, Madeline, thank you so much for gracing us with your company. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we keep you waiting? No?" Very sarcastic and brash with her. And you can already tell, Marius, that this is going to be the best meeting of the Tremere that you could possibly hope for. If you were sarcastic, that is. Not that Marius has ever been sarcastic.
No.
So, you're going to start gathering up some of the people, but we're going to skirt around to all of these people before you gather them up for this meeting. So we're going to move over to Vern and Briany. You two are going to dance. Vern rolled 1 success, and Briany rolled 4 successes. So Briany is a significantly better dancer out on the floor. And any discussion that you two would like to have after scaring the sheriff out of Elysium, now is the time to do it.
What was that about?
Apparently our time is up.
Okay. So, what's the plan?
We need to get back to the church and retrieve the asset. He seemed insistent that I was meant to. And as she says this, like, you can tell that the words taste bad in her mouth. Let the dog off the leash.
Yeah, that's usually his answer to everything. Do you think we should call in that favor, or...
We've got a couple of those, dear. You want to call in the big guns already?
I mean... I just get a sense about that guy, that's all. He's gonna be a problem. And I won't let a single one of those women die. They've suffered enough.
No.
We should have got them out when we left, but it would have just made a bigger mess. Probably
We
not.
were out-
Actually, I don't know. I don't know what they've been through.
No,
We should have done something.
you're right, but a little late for should have. But the family.
Maybe. I think I spooked Shu Fang.
Oh, good.
I just had to press a little bit. And I don't know why. I just I can't shake it that I know I was a mess the night that the second black site thing happened. But I saw Galeb out in the city. I saw him. He didn't have time to embrace her that night. I saw her earlier that night. Mortal. It doesn't add up. And with all the... And he'll kind of look around for any ears pressing close. With all the rest of the lies that Iverson has been telling us, what do you think the chances are that she's your broodmate? Because I know where Beryl was most of the night. And it was 200 Clarendon. Beryl was always spiteful with Galeb. Galeb used to talk about how much of a fucking mistake Beryl was. And he was spiteful. And he was just a lesser man. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, it'd be a slick move. It'd be an easy puppet to put into a position of power.
Now, the more I learn about him, the more I think you're right.
We need to get some of Shu's blood, and we need to get it to Marius. I don't know how you want to do that, and that's totally not even a thing for right now. I wanted to ask you to dance, Bree, because there's some what are we? What is this?
You and your timing.
There's no time but now. There's only here.
You are important to me.
Yeah, it was pretty important to Jara, too. So what do you mean by that? I'll say it plain, Bree. I remember now that I was married to a good woman, and we had a son. And I remember what all of that felt like. And I feel that way about you.
I didn't have time for that kind of thing, even before I was embraced. I had school and pre-law, and then Beryl had me running back and forth, up and down, every which way, trying to climb this fucking ladder, but when I'm with you, I feel like I can put aside the perfection that's expected for a little bit. I feel like I can just be.
I know we're from two different worlds. But I think there's still more sympathetic between us than there is different. I mean, I was born as persona non grata. I was just a part of the land that someone owned. That's what serfdom was like. And then we got told that we were free, and Masha wanted to move to the city to make a difference. And we worked in a factory, and I don't know. Even with all of the different, I feel like you get the parts that matter. And I would like to kiss you.
I would like that very much.
As the two of you lean in to embrace, someone interrupts you. Because I'm mean. And Vern, it's a smell that you haven't smelled in decades. It is the smell that you chased halfway across the world upon your embrace. That heady, hyper-floral scent of a flower you've never smelled before. And a woman appears before you, Briany, a woman who's not dressed at all for the masquerade ball, with brown hair, and she says, "I'm sorry, may I cut in?" as they say.
It's up to you.
It seems that you might have something important to talk about.
109 years coming.
Briany will turn to this woman and extend her hand. Hello.
Hello. My name is Sarah Rains.
Briany Perkins.
I promise I'll give him back. It will be brief.
And Briany will nod, but she'll take Vern's hand and squeeze. Just like a brief, fortifying bit of contact before she steps away.
You really want to do this here? After everything you took from me, you want to do this here?
If you think that I am afraid of you, Vanya, I am not. If you don't want to dance with me, that's fine.
I've been looking for you for so long. And you show up here in this house of fucking horrors.
I wasn't here looking for you.
Where were you?
Everywhere.
And you know I was looking.
Yes. But eventually you stopped looking and I assumed that you found the place for yourself or you died. One or
No,
the other.
I found in the web of a spider.
You're not a fly. You're a wolf.
No, I have not been a wolf for a long time.
What they say, it's like riding a bike. You don't forget.
Where were you when I needed you? I don't need you anymore.
I am not here for you, I've already said.
But where were you when I needed you?
You never needed me. Vanya,
When Quinton Kingy put collar on me like dog, where the fuck were you?
Vanya, be quiet. You never needed me, that is not our way.
Fuck your way.
That's...
I was a child. I didn't know what they could do to me. And you would let them.
You are a man burying his wife. I was a hungry monster, and I appeared to you as a wolf, and you looked at me and you said, "Bury my wife first, and then we can fight, and whoever wins gets to have dinner," is what you said to me when you thought I was just a wolf. And I said, finally someone worthy. And I was not wrong. You are still here. You are still alive. You have done well.
No, I've just had the right keepers.
I won't be in the city for very long. I'm leaving tomorrow. I will be back, though.
You owe me.
I don't. No.
You do. And I will make sure you know it by the end.
Whatever you say, Vanya. You still have much to learn. I'm surprised you didn't take some of that time to learn how to temper yourself. But I will be back. I'll be returned with a friend. You
Sarah,
would like to meet him, I think.
do not come back here with Mr. Bell.
Oh, you already know, my friend.
I know enough. I remember him. If you come back here with him, I will kill him.
Oh, wouldn't that be something, Vanya?
I am determined. I will suffer no ally of Quinton King in this city.
If you can kill him, then you may take your kill, but you won't live to see the next night. And the wolf must decide whether to fill a belly now or wait.
But a man must decide what is worth dying for.
And she pats your face as the dance ends. You're not a man anymore, Vanya.
Fuck you. You don't get to tell me who I am.
And she sort of does a low swoop, bends down, and she turns and she leaves. And as she turns and leaves, and you're just standing there alone on the dance floor watching her walk away, Marius, you can catch Vern now. As he's just standing in the middle of people dancing. You didn't see who he was dancing with, if anyone.
Okay, I'm rounding everyone up for one good meeting. Care to join me?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Where's the rest of them? Briany, Arthur.
Well, we'll get to the rest of them. Don't you worry about it. Now you got Vern. Now you can tag team it with Vern. We're going to move over to Arthur and Azaria. Azaria, you're approaching Arthur to come and speak to him. You have heard some rumblings now about people talking about Quinton King, specifically Caval talking about Quinton King. You sent Ezra to go check on Celeste to see what she knew about him, but you thought, hey, the radio guy would probably know the most, if anything. So Arthur, as you're standing there sort of surveying the room, you spoke to Sarah. You see the Samitsi Primogen is approaching you.
No shit.
Mon petit animateur radio. How are you finding yourself this evening?
Primogen is Aaria. It's wonderful to see you as always. Magnificent party. Very expressive.
I suppose that was one of the goals of tonight. How are you finding your new coterie life?
I wasn't expecting to join up with a group like this, but I've got to admit, everybody's grown on me. Everybody has really shown new light and shown me new options. Celeste in particular.
Everyone has shown how they can be useful.
I don't quite view it like that, but it's part of it, I suppose. I don't take it in the pragmatic approach of useful, but more of, do you know how friends can be useful as actual friends?
Vaguely.
It's sort of like that.
Like human friends or like kindred friends?
Either or.
They're the same to you.
Different outcomes, but the intention behind it.
So then I'm sure you share things as friends would.
We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
Haven't heard any rumblings then from your coterie members about Quinton.
He's a topic of conversation. He's a topic of conversation, in particular, what with Vern having had to deal with him for quite some time. I actually remember. I remember that's where I remember you from. I didn't get to meet you, but I heard about you and Ezra from one of his parties.
Yes, one of his balls that he used to host. Now, I'm sure you heard many more recent things, seeing as some of you have had more recent dealings with him as well. I'm sure
Yes.
It's not all past.
No, it's not all past. If I were to interpret, he's out there somewhere trying to make a power play, one that I'm not particularly keen on, but clearly not a power play that has any real weight behind it. Otherwise, we would have seen him by now, instead of just all of the tertiary orbital bits.
One can have a lot of assets and still be a coward.
You're not wrong.
Quinton is a coward. Doesn't mean he's not an older vampire.
Can I get a wits and insight from you, Arthur, real quick?
Yes. And that comes off as a 2.
Yeah. If you're a betting man, she really hates Quinton. Like, this is a personal hatred of Quinton. This isn't like Vern, where he's obviously been abused by Quinton, and it's a trauma response to Quinton. Aaria seems to just personally hate the man.
What's your interest in the once and former king?
Simply that he is a coward, and cowards shouldn't be allowed to run around anymore now, should they?
You're
If you
not wrong
can't
there.
meet your end with a straight face and your head held up high, then why do you still deserve to be walking around?
I think you and I are in agreement on that one. It doesn't sound like he's doing a lot of running around, though, from the coward wager.
Maybe not physically. Other
you're
ways to run around, especially for Malkavians.
True, they do have a habit of getting inside people's heads. Metaphorically and literally.
And has he been inside of yours, Arthur?
You know, very briefly. I didn't humor him, and I haven't heard from him since. I was under the impression that I was having sort of an inner conscious thing. I believe I actually straight up told him, "Stop talking to me, you're dead."
Right. All right. She has a little curse in herself, thinking, this is the person I'm talking to, and they just didn't. Yeah, all right. That's one way to handle it. Well, if you shut the door on him, I'm sure that others, for example, Celeste, who you claim to be very buddy-buddy with, hasn't fully shut the door on them? Or you don't know?
I know that he's tried to work his way in. That's the reason I know that it wasn't just my own backing thoughts. He's tried to plant a seed in with everybody. How much they are actually humoring it, well, I can
With
only know.
everybody.
He's like you said, desperate, coward, reaching out, seeing what sticks, throwing spaghetti at the wall. Do you have spaghetti? Do you know what I'm talking about, of course.
What just seems fascinating to me is that you claim that he's reaching out to everybody, and I'm presuming you mean your group.
He's tried, hasn't worked just yet.
But how do you know if you don't share everything yet as friends?
You're not wrong there. I'm doing this I'm doing this rare kindred thing, very rare, called trust.
I was about to say I'm messing with you, Arthur. I'm sure you can trust everyone in your group. After all, if you have a common enemy.
And we have common enemies.
Have you had any of the refreshments yet?
Not just yet. I've been so busy socializing. But, no. There's a reason that you wanted to talk to me about Quinton King. He's not table conversation. Did you need something in regards to him?
You haven't sat at my table yet, Arthur. You don't know
You're
what
not-
I talk about at my table.
I don't even know what your table's made of.
Would you like to find out? I have a lovely one downstairs. Multiple ones, actually. Some of them make noise.
And as you say that, some of them make noise. Someone does approach you, and of course, Arthur, you know this to be Lasher, does approach you, and he seems to be hyper-focused on Aaria. But he does see you, and Lasher sort of holds out his hand, and he says, Arthur? Hello, good evening. I'm Fancy. You see, yes, we are all fancy here.
We're all fancy there, Lasher. Lasher, I'd like to introduce you to somebody that I think you're going to absolutely adore, and you might be fascinated with this as well. Primogen, this is Lasher. He's like you.
And you can see that he is obviously like you. He has contorted his face to look like a sun with bones sticking out to represent sort of the point, sort of like a child's drawing of a sun. He's very tall and lean. He has long blonde hair. And it's not quite correct. It's a bit asymmetrical. It looks like he did it. He either is bad at it or he did it fast. But he seems completely entranced by you, and he sort of holds out both of his hands to take one of yours in his, if you would allow him to do so.
Does he seem to have anything else in his body modified?
No.
I will take one of his hands, even though he's holding out both, and I will lift it up to give a kiss on the back of it.
And he looks over at you, Arthur. At the reversal, I like. It's good. I am Lasher. You can also call me Dima. Dimitri is my real name.
Dima?
It's a nickname. Dimitri, Dima. But I go by Lasher.
And I'll call you Lasher. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lasher. I've already heard things about you from others who are roaming around here, some connected to Arthur here. I'm Aaria.
It's your creations giving me great inspiration. I'm almost at a loss for words of how I should compliment you on them. I couldn't. I would need many nights to compose something to properly convey my feelings about how I feel when I look at them.
Is that something you would like to do, Lasher?
Write you a poem, perhaps. Yes, perhaps.
I'm going to let
so.
Clan catch up. I'm going to let Clan catch up. Primogen, if there is anything more you want to know about that topic, do reach out to me at any time.
Surely I'll find you again very soon.
I imagine so. Have fun, buddy. Just patting Lasher on the shoulder as I walk off.
I can't stay. I have to leave. I have another appointment. I don't know what fancy people say. I have another meeting somewhere. But if you would like to meet again, then perhaps in a few nights when I can really compose my thoughts about how I felt about your monsters, I would be more than happy to meet again.
You mean my creations?
I mean, yes, when I say monsters, I do not like that people say monster and they think it is something negative. A beauty can be monstrous.
She eyes him up and down. There's a genuine smile on her face, actually. Like, genuinely. I think you're very fascinating yourself, Lasher. And if we both take a few nights, I'm sure we can compose many thoughts about one another that we could share.
Yes, I will say I do not believe I should meet with you alone because it will make my partner not happy. But if you would allow me to bring a friend, that would probably be better.
Lasher, you're not my type.
No, ouch, but also it's okay. That's not really what I mean. And I don't really want to tell you what I mean. I'm nervous.
Well, because you brought up your partner, it sounded like a romantic thing. But if it's not,
Well, it
then
is
my
between
apologies.
us. It is between us. And I didn't mean I have to bring my partner with me. I just mean I don't think I should go alone to meet you until my partner says that it's okay.
So you need permission to do things.
I like to get permission, yeah. I do. I like it.
You like the feeling of being bound? Chained?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I also like pushing boundaries, and I like making them mad, and then they, it's. I like both. I like both. But I think for this instance, I would like the permission first. I don't want to do the thing where you do it and then ask forgiveness later. It gets messy.
Well, then you're one of a kind in this room, I'm presuming, because I've met more kindred who don't like to be chained than otherwise. It's a pleasant change of pace.
I want to say thank you, but I think there's double meanings to the words
Take
that
it
you
as
say.
a compliment and leave it at that, Lasher.
Can
It
do.
would be wisest.
No problem.
Before you leave, though, and she reaches out with a hand to, take one of the outer corners of the sun that he has. I don't imagine this is something I could do, on this spot to fix it. So I'll just say, is it meant to be symmetrical?
I did it on the street with no, in 5 minutes. I did it just outside your door because I forgot the mask.
Next time, I would suggest you do it in a mirror so you can see the work you're doing.
Yes, that probably would have been smarter, but I was just very excited to come, and I had forgotten the mask that my partner had chosen for me. It's still sitting in the living room, I'm pretty sure.
Well, either way, Lasher, it's impressive work to be done on the street. You can be proud of it.
It means a lot coming from you. Yes, I will get in touch with you in a few nights. I promise.
I look forward to it. Take some refreshments before you go.
I've had so many, I think it is I am wasting it now. But thank you.
Until we meet again?
And he sort of backs up and leaves. And Marius, you can catch Arthur. Marius and Vern, rather. You can catch Arthur. And Azaria, if you would like to say anything to either of them, you can let me know now. Or if you'd like to snatch them.
Yeah, I'm just collecting people like Snake.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Marius approaches you, Azaria, and also tells you that the Tremere are ready for their conference, and then they've requested your presence being here as you are the host.
Joy.
Yeah, I assume that you're thrilled about it. We are going to move on to Celeste. Now, Celeste, you had a very interesting talk with your sire, where you learned that he plans to, should you disappoint him, he plans to replace you by having a thin blood diablerize you named Sky.
Yep.
He's planned it insofar as much that he has a room for you, for Sky, with all of her tastes of things. However that makes you feel. But before that conversation happened, you noticed that Ceres was here, along with her Hecata paramour. You saw them dancing on the dance floor. So you sort of move yourself away from your sire, also just to get away from him, and head to sort of a farther corner of the room. And you come across Celeste here. She's in flagrante delicto with Echo, who was the one who pulled the ghost out of the mirror for you all. And Sarah sees you as you sort of approach, stop short of what they're doing. And she sort of playfully pushes Echo away, like, like get off me. But she's obviously not being serious. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Oh, hey. Oh, man. I really didn't expect to run into any of you here. I thought you wouldn't notice me."
Really? I hadn't expected to see you here either, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this might be one of my last nights in Boston, and I thought, fuck it. Who cares?
You're leaving?
Well, yeah. I mean, no offense. Not that I don't think that Briany is great, and I obviously suggested Briany to the Hecata, but I don't know if the Camarilla are ever going to get their shit together. The Anarchs, they don't want me. And Echo's cousin Ian has a cousin or a brother or something in Berlin, and he and Cable and a couple others are going to go, and so I said I'd go with them. There's apparently Anarchs in Berlin that maybe I could get in good with, so.
I see. Does Vern know?
I mean, what does it matter? He's just going to forget who I am in 2 months.
Not so sure about that.
Well, it's been this way for 30 years, so I am pretty sure.
Fair enough, you know him better than I do. I just know I helped him remember everything.
You did what?
I brought his memories back.
Oh my god. And no one told me? That's great. I love that for me.
It was after the family dinner.
Well, if you've seen me, then that might mean Ezra has seen me, and if Ezra sees me, Ezra will kill me. So, tell Vern that I'm gonna go to Berlin, and if he wants to say anything to me before I go, to just find me.
I will do that.
Did you talk to Ezra about what I told you?
I did, and I got a name. I don't suppose you know anybody by the name of Sky?
Sure do.
Yeah, what are they like?
Mentally unstable, young. She's a pack priest for the new Sabbat pack in town.
You wouldn't happen to know if Prince Iverson knows about this little arrangement?
I'm going to be really honest with you, Celeste. I don't think Iverson knows anything that's going on. As far as I can tell, she used Richard to keep track of everyone, his little Malkavian hive mind, and with him gone, and Delson mostly incompetent,
yeah,
she's adrift.
Fair enough. Just wonder what that would do for his reputation, but
I don't know. I'm fairly certain that Ezra's moving pieces on a board to put someone else in Iverson's place.
that is what he does. Moves pieces on a board.
Well, I hope you'll enjoy being princess. That is, if you don't get Diablerized, of course.
I won't. I won't. And I wouldn't let Ezra hurt you, for the record. I don't think he'll be around long enough to do that.
Well, my goodness, someone's feeling optimistic tonight. That's refreshing. No offense, Celeste. I think you're real cool. Love your bird. Awesome. I don't trust when anyone says that they won't hurt me.
And I'm sure that's what's helped you survive this long. I respect that.
We'll see how it treats me in Berlin. But, yeah, we're gonna go. You just tell Vern to come find me and tell him don't dilly-dally.
I'll do that. I'll make sure he comes to find you. It's the least he could do.
Cool. And she and Echo sort of slip through the crowd, sort of sticking closer to the Sentinel so no one can see them, and eventually they leave. And that is when, and I will give a brief moment, sorry Briany, I have something special for you. And I'll give a brief moment as Aaria has already gone to the conference room. Marius, Vern, and Arthur, you find Celeste alone in a corner away from everyone, looking a little like they just had the most intense conversation maybe they've ever had in their entire life.
Where's your bird?
Probably found a back door to.
Oh, thank God that's not actually his face you're wearing. I thought it was Aaria. I might have fucked with him.
Oh God, no.
Honestly, I saw you earlier and I was legitimately fucking worried.
No, that would be awful. I wouldn't. Oh
You
my
think she would
god.
just let her do that?
I don't think she'd have, no offense, Celeste, I don't think she'd have much of an option. Well, I can rest easy knowing the bird that bites the shit out of me is still flying out there somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. He'll live to bite another day. Vern, did you know that Saris is leaving?
You fucking what?
She's going to Berlin.
Why? That city fucking sucks.
She'll shrug. Join up with the Anarchs, I guess.
The Anarchs here don't want her. The Camarilla here is not fond of her at the moment. Berlin's a bit extreme, though.
If we can all just make our way to the room and maybe you just shut up for the next 15, 20 minutes, I think we'll all be
Marius,
great.
just use the clicker. Just click it. I hate it when you tell me to shut up. Just use the fucking clicker, okay? That we can at least agree on.
I don't like this new attitude of yours. He just turns and starts walking.
I'm intrigued with it, and I walk off as well.
As we walk, I'll make bird noises to call Oviedo to me.
Oviedo does return to you, and it takes a minute for him to return to you. And he says, "Someone yelling upstairs. Had to go see."
Who was yelling?
Dunno. Screaming in a closet, yelling. "Let me out! Let me out!" And just mimics her voice.
I pause. What did the room look like? Do you know? Can you describe it?
Yeah. Bone lady room. Lady with the bones.
I see.
It's a lot of squawking you're doing back there.
You want to go check it out? Bone lady not in there. Ah?
I'll kind of scrunch in to the group and be like, apparently, there's someone held captive upstairs.
It's a Samis gathering. I feel like that's par for the course.
15 minutes. And I feel like that's not really our problem right now.
Oviedo says, "Hey, you and me go, just like the old times. Let them go do talking. Talking boring. We don't like to talk. Talking boring."
Talking boring, but I did promise I would help.
Do that thing.
You know,
Give you a boon.
Everything okay there, Celeste?
No, everything's fine. Just arguing with my bird, like you do.
Like you do.
Sorry,
I
I know you don't. Sorry, I know it's not our problem. I just thought I would bring it to our attention since it was brought to mind.
Well, no, it's like Vern says, if there's a missing gathering, it very well could be par for the course. At the same time, unless we know who it is, I'm going to be concerned about somebody needing help upstairs the entire time.
I just want to remind everyone, other than maybe Celeste, this is neither our circus or our monkeys.
Right, apart from Celeste.
It's fine. It's just do what we came here to do.
No, I say that because Marius is Celeste actually required for this, or did you just want to get the whole gang together?
please. I mean, the moment we're done with this, we can go investigate.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Certainly nothing will happen to prevent you from investigating.
Ah,
Ezra, you had that very uncomfortable talk with your child. She informed you that Quinton King is referring to her as Guinevere in her mind. And how much of that you truly believe, I'll leave entirely up to you. But at the very least, you never schooled her on Quinton King. The fact that she knows so much about him tends to give credence to the fact that it might be true. But as you stand there on the dance floor and take a goblet, one of your ghouls, Gabriel, approaches you, and he says, Master, when I was shadowing Celeste, I came to learn that, and he looks over at Briany, I came to learn that she received an invitation from the Lazarines, the Hecata, the only faction I know you have no hand in, the ones who are expelled from Boston by Iverson. She received a personal invitation from Andreas Giovanni, and they all attended a family dinner. I think it might behoove you, sir, to speak to her. If she is in with the Hecata and you are not, it doesn't look great.
And why are you just telling me this now?
I didn't really get the opportunity. They went basically from the dinner to a church to here. Celeste has kept her coterie very busy.
As expected. Gabriel, I expect better from you in the future.
Yes, master.
What can you tell me about her dealings with the Forgotten Prince?
Celeste's.
Yes.
She has mentioned nothing to me. Nothing at all.
And she is able to keep things from you.
Yes, she has. But I have no powers to employ against her. I am not Kindred. I am only a ghoul.
And surely a ghoul can still do my bidding. Surely a ghoul can reach out a hand.
Surely. But I did attempt seduction. It did not work. I don't think she fancies me.
I expect not. A firmer hand then, Gabriel. She has weaknesses. She's growing close to her coterie. She has her fucking bird. Make use of her weaknesses.
Her siblings will be returning from Bogota in 2 days. I will do exactly that.
Good.
In the meantime, sire, you should speak to Briany.
And I shall. I will look in Briany's direction.
Briany, you sort of have spoken politely to a few kindred here that you don't know who have just remarked on your necklace, or on your makeup, or on your hair, and you quickly gather that Toreador from outside cities of Boston. And that is when you feel a very dark presence approach you. And it is the La Sombra Primogen Ezra Contreras.
Primogen.
Miss Briany. It's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. We missed each other last time.
Pleasure is all mine.
Is it? How are you finding yourself this evening?
It is a remarkable gathering. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it.
Yes, Aaria does put on quite a show, don't you think?
She does?
You know, I've heard a great deal of things about your, forgive me, I can't say your, and I imagine that you are not, their leader, no. Venture though you are. But the first coterie.
Yes, we have been, how do they say it? Running hither and yon these past few nights.
Indeed. And how have you found my progeny? Has she been helpful? Has she been useful?
Celeste has been indispensable.
I raised her to be such. There's a great deal of pride in this, you see. I'm sure she's told you how proud I am of her.
Of course. Is what we all strive for, making certain that our lineage is well represented.
She has the potential to surpass her father, to surpass even my sire, especially with the reaching out, the allies she gathers. Your first coterie was only my first step, and she took that with a running start. I hear that there is dealings with the Hecata, something I myself was never able to breach.
Aye, word does get around.
I am the Lissombra Primogen, Miss Briany. It would do me a disservice to not know what the Lissombra were doing in this city.
Considering the precarious nature that we all find ourselves in within the tower, I imagine the more allies, the better.
Oh yes, these are difficult nights. Difficult nights indeed. You never know when someone is waiting in the shadows. But should you ever meet a friend who is familiar with the shadows, one that you could trust, Miss Briany, I would hope that you would reach out. It's not just my child that can be helpful to you, you know.
Of course, Senor Contreras. I appreciate your guidance. I'm still quite young when it comes to kindred years.
Then let me offer you this piece of advice, free of charge and from an experienced soul. And I will lean into where my lips are almost brushing against Brianny's ear. Not all of your friends are truly your friends. This is a fundamental truth of our existence. Even those closest to us can sometimes carry secrets. Take Celeste, for example. How much do you think you can trust her if she is my child? If I cannot trust her, if I cannot quell her ambition, what makes you think the first coterie can?
That is, of course, something to consider.
It would do well to consider it before Quinton makes another appearance, Miss Briany.
Yes, well, I believe that is the struggle that we all face, isn't it? As kindred. At the end, can we really truly trust any of us?
There's only one way. That is through the blood.
The rest of you, besides Aaria, come upon the scene as you look for Briany of Ezra very, very close to her, almost whispering directly in her ear, speaking to her of things that you are not aware of. It looks almost intimate as the four of you come across it.
I will say that Briany is standing back ramrod straight. Not outwardly showing her discomfort, but for those who have known her the longest, she's not happy.
As we come up, like, I imagine we can see him well before we come up on him.
Yes.
I'm going to very immediately take Celeste's hand, put it on my arm, and just make it immediately look like this was absolutely how we were walking the entire time, just feeding into that bullshit from the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Briany, sire. I see you two are finally...
I know you looked familiar. Holy shit. Ezra. Long time no see.
Kuval. It's a pleasure to see you without a collar on, finally.
Where's yours?
Kept close in secret, I'm afraid. Not for prying eyes.
Well, yeah, I know what they say.
How have you been, Kaval? Getting enough exercise? Eating the proper food?
Well, you know, I get out, I do what I can. How about you? Still getting Uber Eats to the place? I don't ever see you out.
I am out and about. Whether you see me is inconsequential.
Might be consequential.
Indeed.
Sir, I hate to interrupt your conversation, but I am hurrying everyone to the conference room. If we can all join, it would be greatly appreciated.
Ah, finally.
And as you all make it there, Marius, I need you to make me a wits and awareness. I will allow, depending on what you roll, for you to choose someone in your coterie to assist you to see if you can find Dejon, because you haven't seen him yet. So make me a wits and awareness. And whoever you choose, without seeing their sheet, you can add those dots.
Quick, everyone send me their sheets.
It's whoever you think. You know, we're in episode 7 here. Knowing all these coterie members, whoever you think has the best awareness.
And ask Aaria to help me.
Aaria and Ezra don't count. You don't know them that well.
I mean, there's still time. I think if I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna say Celeste.
Okay, Celeste, how many dots in awareness do you have?
Well, here's the thing, family. I have 4 dots in wits,
Yeah.
but 2 in awareness.
Okay, so add 2 dots of awareness to your pool.
Alright. Do I still have that blood buff from last time?
If you buffed, then everyone get to keep it. Spalna, you get to keep it the whole time. If you buffed for mental, social, or physical, you get to keep it this whole session.
That is 5 successes.
With 5 successes, you are completely sure, as you usher everyone into the conference room, that Dejon is not here.
Kaval, I understand that you are making yourself waves throughout the city. All of your coterie mates are speaking quite fondly of you.
Yeah, your master also spoke well of you when I talked to her earlier. But you know, it was so interesting. The night that we got called to blood hunt your bitch of a Samis, where were you?
Where I was needed most, Vern. Where were you when your master was... Well, we all know what happened to the one who held your leash.
I put the stake in him myself.
My dogs would never.
Yeah, they won. But see,
don't be so sure.
You know, that's neither here nor there, Ezra. And I've never really found you interesting. So I'll leave you with a quote. Fyodor Dostoevsky. We are all monsters. Some of us are just better at hiding it than others. Man speaks of virtue, yet craves power. He condemns evil, yet justifies his own sins. The greatest crimes are not committed by villains, but by those who consider themselves righteous. A man convinced of his own virtue will justify any cruelty, any betrayal. He is far more danger than the man who knows what he is. Nothing is easier than to denounce an evildoer. Nothing is more difficult than to understand him. The
Freedom
line
has changed you, Kaval. You bark far too much now.
my bite's twice as bad.
And that is where we will take our break. Welcome back, everyone. We are coming to the end of our Masquerade ball here. I think we've been here long enough, personally, but honestly, I would stay here for another 3 episodes. We are ready for the Tremere, let's call it conference, the meeting of the Tremere, where they're going to decide whether or not they are going to support a New England chantry or not. And Marius might be in a state of panic because they have scanned the ballroom multiple times and they can't find Dejon. He seems to have disappeared. And you're all in this conference room. And now inside this conference room, there are two of these Schlachta, but they are both the same ones. They are the ones serving goblets of Vitae. So everyone, please raise your hand if you drink any of these goblets. If you do raise your hand, you may move your hunger down to 1. If you are at a hunger higher than 1. Yeah, Ezra, go ahead. Move yourself down to 1. Anyone else? Everyone's going to stay at the hunger that they are at. And Marius, you said that you had no willpower. That's unfortunate. I will let you heal all of that willpower for the finale. Because you'll need it. I will be a kind and benevolent god because you'll need it. So Marius, who would you like to speak to while you close the door in this room where there's a large marble table and leatherback chairs? It's a black marble with white running through it. And no sire for you. No Tremere Primogen here.
It would seem that Dejon is not here.
I don't suppose he has a cell phone.
I don't think so. And I don't know why would he abscond on quite possibly the most important night of our lives.
Okay. That is
Because
concerning.
Dejon's always had a weak spine.
I'm gonna make him pay for it.
Of course.
Take his position.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. How can we help you keep this in motion, then?
If we can drive home that Boston would be a fantastic place to restart, to make new history, perhaps the benefit of the missing circulatory system, despite our prior conversations, at least offer that. I guess if we can all agree that Dejon is a bitch, I can just assume.
No argument there.
Well,
Never
thank
liked
you.
him.
I think I might be able to help you sell Madeline Coventry on this.
Please, and I kind of soured Deneb with Lasher, but I couldn't be dishonest about our relationship. It would come out either way.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
talking up Boston is a specialty of mine. I'm happy to help.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Do you work in radio?
Did you want me to?
I think you might have a shot at it.
I gotta ask, Mari.
Don't call me that.
Okay, weird. What do you want out of this? I mean, for real.
I just want for this to be over. I've been molded and shaped up until this point, and for it to be at its zenith and he's not here, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Seems suspicious, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know why, unless he plans to kill us all. I don't know why he's not here.
Oh, well.
How much do you want me to talk about? I mean, with your stuff, I don't want to overstep.
No, please, I need all the help I can get.
Well, I mean, it'll probably put you in good graces with Coventry if they know that you helped install the current Baron of the Anarchs. I mean, goodwill's a two-way street, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I think that him not being here is good in the sense of showing that this doesn't hinge on a single person. This is, in fact, everybody in. We're talking about everybody putting in and starting anew. This isn't his city. This is our city. This is your chantry, and so on and so forth.
And actually, on that point, Marius, do you have any broodmates? Or is it just you?
I did at one point, but no longer. It's
So-
only me.
It's just you and Dejon.
Yeah.
Vern, you would recall that Dejon's other child, Imani, died in the first first light attack. Then Marius was sort of fast-tracked to be his new protege.
All right. Yeah, I'll handle Madeline. I think I get the angle on her.
I'll talk to whoever you need me to talk to, whenever you need me to.
I feel like you can both tag team Madeline, because if Vern messes this up, I will let him sunbathe.
It'll take a while, but yeah, sure.
Okay,
I'll wait.
so let's tackle that first. Arthur and Vern head over to Madeline. Now, as I've described Madeline, she's wearing a robe of white and purple. She has a mask of dried verbena and purple veil. She has 4 acolytes with her, who are standing to her left and her right as she's seated at this table. And she looks very bored. She's drumming her finger against the table as if she's been waiting for a long time. She hasn't. She's been here less than 20 minutes. But she seems like she doesn't really know why she should even be here.
You mind if I take point on this one, Arthur? What I have to say is going to take a very little amount of time, and I feel like you'll do a much better cleanup job than I will.
By all means, you start, I'll finish.
Sure. And Vern will sit down and hold out a hand. Hi. Nice to meet you, Miss Coventry. I've heard a lot about you.
She looks at you up and down.
Do you know who I am?
I can't say that I do.
Yeah, well, the once and future king had me look into you pretty heavy.
What an interesting way to start off this meeting. You are not a warlock?
No, ma'am. I'm just a street dog, and I'll be straight and to the point because I get the feeling that you don't really like to fuck around that much. Look, I'm the one who put the stake in Quinton.
I thought
I
Quinton
know.
left to the beckoning.
No, that's a fake.
Are you
And
implying
honestly-
that the Camarilla here in the Ivory Tower is duplicitous? I know that they are. But are you saying that this whole conference of Boston being a united front is built on a lie?
With Dejon at the head of this thing, yeah. With Marius Weiss at the head of this thing, you're not going to get much but the truth. So, again, if I can be frank and just to the point, and we can just get all the social bullshit out of the door. Marius was essential in installing the new Baron here in Boston. Marius has a head on their shoulder for business. I've never met one of you with more of a fucking backbone. No offense. If there's somebody you want to work with here, it's not Dejon fucking Siaka. You want to work with Marius, and Marius is going to do right by you, and they've already started passing goodwill off to the Anarchs. You wouldn't be asked to change, you wouldn't be asked to do anything different, you would just be asked to be here. And I get the feeling you're the kind of woman that respects somebody being upfront with their intentions.
I don't know why I should accept anything that you have to say. Are you Anarch? You
In
put
another
this-
life, maybe.
You put the stake in Quinton, but you're still here, and everyone's telling a lie that Quinton went off to the beckoning.
My sire's Sarah Rains.
Sorry, I don't know the name.
She keeps the company of one Theo Bell.
I know that name. I'm sorry, I am not... My dealings with the Anarchs go as far as the end of my chantry.
Sure. And in respect to that, I'm not going to waste too much more of your time. My friend Arthur here would love to speak to you. Just know that Marius is the kind of person you want to work with. They get shit done. They have ambitions, and they're very upfront with them. They're not gonna feed you a line of bullshit to try and get you to do something. They're just gonna ask.
I'd like to hear that from Marius themselves. But
I'm sure you would.
I'll take your words into consideration.
Great. And if you need anything, from me, which I know you don't, but if there ever comes a situation where you might, all you gotta do is ask.
Your insistence on telling me that you put a stake into Quinton King doesn't impress me.
I didn't mean for it to.
I could have staked Quinton at any time.
So why
just
didn't you?
Didn't see the need. He never came knocking on my door.
Oh yeah, he did. It was just a very soft knock.
Arthur wasn't.
Miss Coventry. And he'll kind of bow his head to her and stand up and walk away.
Arthur has been standing about 5-10 feet back to give the impression of like a line forming for Madeline, just to feed into the like people want to talk to you. Also, Arthur just eyes to the back of Vern's head when he said that his sire was Sarah Rains, and he's going to pocket that bit of information as I walk past. Yes, Madeline Coventry, my name is Arthur Zebulon. I was under the impression that you wanted to talk.
Well, I was under the impression that the Tremere Primogen of Boston was going to be here, but I see the door has closed and he is not here. I was also quite disappointed when I scanned the room and saw that Prince Iverson wasn't in attendance either. I recognize your voice. Why do I recognize your voice?
People say that I have a voice for radio, AM 500, Liberty Night Radio, the voice of the people.
Yes, and she looks over at one of these women with the veil. Jocelyn, that's what I hear coming from your room.
Oh, you're a fan.
You can't see Jocelyn's facial features, but she just nods.
Wonderful. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, all of you. And pleasure to make yours in particular, Miss Coventry.
Okay.
Now, as I do tend to style myself as the voice of the people, voice of Boston, I was wondering what it is that I can tell you. What can I help you with in this regard? Again, if you wanted to speak, I'm happy to speak.
Well, I have no issue on the surface of having a chantry in Boston.
Yes.
However, now that Quinton King is gone, and that's good. I wanted to get the measure of this new prince, but she's not here, so I can't. And I was told that during the Second Inquisition attack that the Anarchs were used as cannon fodder. I take personal offense to that, as I myself have been an Anarch since the 18th century, before, before they did all the things they did out in California and called themselves the First Anarch Revolt of the Modern Knights, or whatever silly thing they called themselves.
Free state, I believe the term is.
Whatever. I wanted to see if things had changed, if things had improved, because Dejon swore up and down that they had, but there is no one here to tell me if things have changed or have improved. So therefore, why should I send my girls here to fill up this new chantry? My girls are Anarchs. They follow no prince.
You said you've been an Anarch since the 18th century, so I can assume you've been around since at least then, if not before. Did you grow up in a rural environment?
You could call it that.
Are you familiar with slash and burn farming?
Yes.
Very aggressive form, but those ashes in that very aggressive approach yields extraordinarily fertile soil from where to grow things. This city got slashed and burned outstandingly. And we are still in recovery of this, but that means, Miss Covington, that the soil is fertile here. The most fertile, more than any other city, at least in the Northeast, if not this side of the United States. So I wouldn't presuppose to tell the Tremere what a good idea would be. I'm just a Bruja after all, completely different side of things. But as somebody who has a familiarity and a comfort in the Anarchs, despite my role here, and as somebody who has a great love for this city, I can assure you that if you are looking for a place to build something great, you're not going to find a better place than here.
To be honest, Arthur, I won't be building anything. My concern is that should I support my fellow Tremere to building a New England chantry for the further betterment of our clan, that I will be simply sending them into a Camarilla war zone.
Now, when I say you building, do understand I don't mean you specifically. I'm speaking about the clan as a whole. And I'm speaking about the clan as a whole because part of that whole growing things is unity, coming together, working together, everybody putting in together, which means growing it into whatever you all see fit together. All of you coming in and contributing to this shapes the direction of the city. It changes the direction of the city.
She looks over at Aaria. And how do you feel about that host? How do you feel about a bunch of Anarch Tremere coming in and reshaping the city?
I'm sure that if there were to be reshaping done, that we wouldn't have to crawl over each other to do it, for ones or not use the other for cannon fodder, and we could talk about it. That's why we're sitting here tonight, isn't it? Because we will discuss things.
Well, yes. Why would Dejon choose you to hold this meeting? I just can't get it past my mind. Why wouldn't the prince want to hold such an important meeting if it indeed was considered so important in the Ivory Tower in Boston? Why a Semitzi of all things?
Well, Miss Aaria, Primogen Aaria, is rather significant in the sense of that growth and change of the city. Have you ever heard of a Missy Primogen before? Because personally, I haven't.
Neither have I.
Exactly. Primogen Aaria represents forward growth and future, much like what this could be, if you don't mind me saying so.
And I personally have a long history with Boston as well. I've seen it through many stages.
I think that's something else you're going to find commonality here when you talk about being concerned about being sent into a Camarilla war zone or how the Camarilla and the Anarchs are going to work. I think you're going to find that the people here who are actually working on growth, working on the future, care about the city first and foremost. Not politics.
I have a severe issue with someone who speaks kindly of everyone in a room when I know that we Kindred are not like that at all. And I'm wondering, Arthur, if you are just a good talker or if there's any conviction behind your words. And I need Aaria, Vern, and Arthur to all roll me charisma and persuasion rolls, or charisma and leadership rolls, whichever's higher for you. See if Madeline really buys what you're selling.
May I add, because it's not as on the nose, but I am attempting to do this through my conversation. May I add my rallying specialty?
Yeah, absolutely. She is an Anarch, absolutely. The difficulty to meet here is 8.
In which case I'm going to rouse the blood, because I need a little bit of a boost
5.
there. I do not get hungrier.
I'll rouse my blood for Ezra Boo.
For my baby.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
5, 6, 7, 8. Critical.
There you go.
In the spirit,
10.
as I've always done, I'll drop the picture.
10. So, Vern, what you said to Madeline meant very little. She didn't like how you approached her. She wasn't a huge fan of you coming out with invoking Quinton's name right out of the gate, a person she personally can't stand. She didn't like your brashness. She didn't like the cut of your jib. Wasn't a fan. Arthur and his Aaria, who are much more tempered, had better words than you. They're better talkers than you are. She seemed to be much more up to them, and she continues conversing with them. You have successfully gotten 1 point for Madeline.
Do understand that while I am a fantastic talker, don't get me wrong there, it's in my blood, part of my clan, to rest very heavily on conviction. I wouldn't speak well if I didn't believe it.
We tend to rest on perfectionism, but I take your meaning. Briany, who would you like to speak with? Would you speak with Deneb? Would you like to speak to one of the members of your coterie who aren't currently busy? Or would you like to speak to Madeline yourself? Would you like to everyone lean entirely to Madeline?
Oh, God. I feel like she's getting mobbed right now, so that feels a little rude.
She definitely doesn't look like she feels like she can't control a room.
Oh, yeah. No, she's fine. She's fine. I'm gonna let Arthur do what Arthur does.
Mm-hmm.
I will look to Marius, and then look to Deneb, and look to Marius. With the okay. What?
Just a nod.
Would you like to tag team this with Marius, or would you like to do it on your own?
I feel like a tag team is appropriate.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Marius is like, actually, I was just going to let everybody else do it.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's doing a great job.
I want to make sure that Marius gets their fucking flowers on this.
Mm-hmm. Deneb is sort of just listening to Arthur and rolling his eyes every once in a while. He has his feet up on the conference table. He's wearing loafers and, as I said, a white linen suit. He looks like he's about to go on vacation, like he's about to leave and go to Logan after this. And he looks fairly bored. He's got white sunglasses on. And he sees you, Briany, and he says, "So, no Dejon? Can't fault Madeline for saying no prince here. 2 of the outlier primogens, so sort of, no, if any looks at you, Ezra, no offense, the freaks. And we are supposed to, Hartford is doing just fine. There's no reason for us to stick our necks out for you. And as I have been told, there is no circulatory system here. I am told that Richard is gone, that the Red Salon is destroyed, and I don't know if you heard, but what we do takes blood. So go on. Sell me on why I should hoof a bunch of my acolytes up from Connecticut."
Growth is difficult. Building something new from the ashes takes toil and persistence. From my understanding, and sir, I know that I may be young in terms of our knights. From what I understand, the old guard can have a hard time with new things.
Are you calling
And
me
you say
old, Miss Perkins?
I would never. Dressed like that, of course not. But I would imagine, and forgive me, I know very little of what the Tremere are capable of. But I would think that fresh blood would yield the best results, yes?
I think you're using a double entendre, and I just want to make sure. Do you mean fresh blood as in fresh acolytes, or do you mean fresh blood as in freshly squeezed from a mortal, not like one of these? And he grabs a goblet from one of these monsters and starts drinking out of it.
We could call it metaphorical, I suppose. Fresh faces, fresh ideals. Something to start that is unique.
That's all well and good, and he looks to you, Marius, but where's the blood going to come from, my dear? Now, I know you haven't met your grandsire, Marie Laveau, but she would never consider opening a new chantry before having a robust circulatory system, let's call it.
I've already made my little seed allegory, and I'm just going to emphasize that. I think moving forward would be nothing short of a miracle, something you could tell your grandchildren about.
Okay, so we're all talking in flowers and metaphors. Where's the blood going to come from? Where will we build the circulatory system? Who will run it? Who will finance it? Where is it going to come from? Because before we start do you want us to build a new chantry or do you want us to build a circulatory system? Which one do you want? We can do both, but they take time. Which one are we doing? What are we here for? Chantry or circulatory system? I was told chantry. If I was incorrect, I mean, I've also thought Dejon was going to be here, so...
You are here for your chantry. Blood will be provided. A basis, and you can involve yourselves as much as you like. I understand that you like to be hands-on in these things, yes?
I would very much like to know where the blood is coming from, yes. It's important to what we do, isn't it, Marius?
Yes, sir, it is.
The groundwork will be made from my resources.
You're going to rebuild the circulatory system.
With the help of others, and I'll look to Briany and Marius and the entirety of the first coterie.
Is there something I'm missing here? Is there some secret about the circulatory system that I am not aware of?
No, it is in a new infancy, and it'll take all of us to rebuild. But I'm so glad to have our Primogen's blessing.
I thought it was obvious with the hosting of the meeting, Marius.
Well, some things just slip past my vision.
So, fresh faces, a new beginning. Phoenix rising from the ashes. With a new circulatory system on top of it. That is quite the feat. However, I am not unwilling to send some acolytes to be a part of it, as long as Hartford gets its appropriate, what was the phrase? Flowers.
Oh, of course. We'll put a plaque in the chantry.
Would you really?
Honest to God, I would.
And you three, please roll me charisma and persuasion, or charisma and leadership rolls.
Y'all, I gotta make all these successes with a crit to even touch 8.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, if only Dejon was here, it's weird.
You know, I'm so tired.
Why? I hate... Would you show me what my goddamn specialty is, please, Nexus?
No.
I sure as shit don't remember.
3 successes.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be 12 on the crit, by the way.
There you go. And Briany.
8 on a crit.
All right. So once again, we have 2 people who succeed. Deneb, unfortunately, does not like Marius that you are not more... You can tell that you are not more front-facing forward in that you're not commanding the room, that you're not commanding the... dominating the conversation here. But he does like that Ezra immediately said that there's going to be blood provided, that a circulatory system is being created, and he does like that that Briany has come forth with an idea that that fresh faces would be the perfect plan for rebuilding Boston for a new chantry. Celeste, Madeline turns to you and she says, I've heard some whisperings that you are the first Lasombra embraced in Boston. Is that true?
That it is.
Now, I understand that for your clan, there's not a whole lot of choice. That you sort of had a deal to join with the Camarilla as opposed to the Anarchs. If you had a choice, would you be Anarch or would you be Ivory Tower? Of course, Madeline is not aware that your sire's in the room.
If I had a choice, I would likely stay in the Ivory Tower, although if the Anarchs would suit my ambitions, well, you can make a switch there.
And what ambitions would those be? I find it interesting for Lasombra to have any care or concern at all about the Tremere chantry in Boston. Or is it Boston that you care about?
I care for Boston. I care for my coterie. I care for Marius.
Really? Tell me about Marius.
Marius is skilled. I know little, obviously nothing about what the Tremere do, but what I have seen has been impeccable, impressive. I'm amazed by it.
Interesting. I put a stake in Quinton King. If you had a choice, would you be Anarch or would you be Ivory Tower?
Neither.
You would be independent, I can respect that. Why?
Because the difference between an anarch baron and a prince is which side of the fucking street you piss on.
I tend to align myself with that idea as well, as there is no baron in Salem.
I mean, sure, it's a great ideal. But at the end of the day, what I know is if you don't take fucking care of yourself, nobody will. So take care of you and yours and fuck everybody else.
Yes, that's what I've been doing for the past 250 years. I am a firm believer in freedom. I'm a firm believer in keeping the Masquerade. The Ivory Tower is a firm believer in control. Tell me about Marius.
I mean, what do you want to know?
I asked you already.
And I led with that, ma'am, respectfully.
You were trying to lead me into accepting whatever proposal that they have about building the chantry. I want to hear your personal feelings about Marius. How do you feel about them? And you do not have to be like Arthur and be nice about everyone to my face.
To be frank, ma'am, Marius annoys the piss out of me. But in my coterie, I know Marius has my back. And Marius stands for the people that they consider to be their people, I guess. Marius shakes hands on both sides of the aisle when they can. Marius gets the job done, ma'am, and in stark contrast to Dejon, who I've known for years, who barely gets off his ass and does anything. Marius isn't afraid to get their gloved hands a little dirty to get the fucking job done.
Arthur, who is Marius to you?
Marius is one that put this coterie together. Marius is the one who took the task, grabbed it with both hands, and here we are today. Marius has a quiet ambition. It's very different from the boisterous ones that I'm so used to, both Camarilla and Anarch alike. To me, well, I do consider Marius a friend, but beyond that, I look forward to addressing Marius the same way that I have addressed Aaria today.
Celeste, Vern, and Arthur, charisma and persuasion, or charisma and leadership, please?
It's still 8.
The difficulty is 7.
Okay.
I would like to rouse for my socials.
Just keep track of your blood, and reminder there is blood in here.
I will get hungry. You're taking me to 2.
I'll also rouse. I get hungry.
Everyone's like, no, won't drink Azaria's blood creature things. I won't do it.
But I worked so hard to make them.
No, it's creepy and it's gross. Only
For what
one.
it's worth, I've established from jump that Arthur has never taken a drink in any other place that he has been offered.
7? That is the DC.
9 critical.
Meets the DC.
Posted in chat.
Come on, Celeste.
Fucking willpowered and got 2 because the dice hate me today.
So your over the top praising of Marius does nothing for Madeline. She doesn't believe it. She doesn't believe anyone is solely good and solely wonderful and solely capable. She doesn't believe that about anyone. But Vern and Arthur, who seem to be a little bit more in depth, a little bit more persuasive, a little bit maybe more honest, she definitely believes that although Marius has their faults, both Vern and Arthur consider Marius to be leadership worthy of a chantry. Deneb has a similar question for you, Briany, and you, Marius. And he sort of leans back, downs his goblet, and gives it back to the monster without really looking at it. So, Dejon's not here, and Imani's dead. You know, rip or whatever. So that leaves who is going to head up this chantry of fresh-faced acolytes, ready to plant their seeds in the ashes, or whatever it is that you said. It leaves Marius, doesn't it? Or are you expecting one of us to supply a regent? Because if that's the case, then why not have Madeline or I head it up? Why on earth would we give it to a bust in Tremere?
If you want me to be frank, be candid, I was made for this. I was literally slaughtered and killed and brought into this fucking unlife for this.
After Imani died.
Yes. Does that change anything? I'm still standing. If anything, that means I can survive.
I mean, I think it speaks ill of Imani, but she's dead, so she's not going to care.
Oh, rest in peace. Thank you.
And you,
Look.
Briany, you think... Oh, no, please. You have more to say about yourself, please.
I've just been very polite this entire time. I will gladly ascend to regent. Dare I say I deserve it.
Gladly. It's interesting word for that. It's not a position for everyone. I've been regent of the Hartford Chantry for 80 years, and I don't know if I would ever say that I would ascend again gladly.
Well, you and I are different people.
Perhaps. You, Briany, you think Marius is up to snuff? You think that they can handle multiple acolytes, handle dealing with the circulatory system that apparently exists somewhere in the ether, but, no one can see it right now?
I do. It has been a challenging handful of nights up until this lovely party. Marius has been pulled in several different directions this entire time, and I have never seen them stumble once. We may not get along the entire time, because truthfully, I feel like occasionally we are too similar. But they do what needs to get done. They've always done what they need to finish the damn job. And while we may not always see eye to eye, that is something that I can admire, no matter the clan, no matter the kindred.
Well, that's high praise coming from a Ventru, but I need you both to roll me charisma and persuasion, or charisma and leadership, whichever is higher for you. The DC is 7. If you succeed in this, then that is 2 out of 3 for both Madeline and Deneb. That is a successful forming of a New England chantry, at least in treaty, or at least in word.
With willpower, that's 7.
Okay.
by the skin of my fucking teeth, I swear to God.
All right. Oh, goodness.
Poor
Hey,
Vin.
guys.
Come on, baby.
It's been real.
Come on, baby.
It's been fun.
Vin,
I don't
Come
know
on,
if it's been
baby.
real fun.
Vin,
Come on.
I don't know if I
should've-
I don't know. I wish I could say the worst is over, but I can't say that to you.
Nope.
I should
We're
have
only in
taken
season 1.
Wingman. I could apply presents to other people.
Okay. So Deneb doesn't seem convinced in Marius's attempt at confidence here. He's not convinced. He thinks that, especially, apparently Deneb had a high opinion of Imani who Marius never met, and he doesn't really like, apparently, any idea that she wasn't a better fit for the job. But he does take your words into consideration, someone who's not Marius. And he sort of hand waves, he sort of waffles a bit. He's like, I am not entirely convinced that Marius is the best kindred for the job. However, let's call it probationary. I am willing to send a total of 4 acolytes from Hartford to fill your chantry. You simply need to reach out to me, to the location, time, and place, and I will send them there. Send them thus. And Madeline sort of stands up and she says, yes, these 4 acolytes with me who have been present for this meeting, I'll be more than happy to send to open a New England chantry. And unlike Deneb, Marius, your coterie have convinced me that you are more than fit to serve as High Regent of the New England chantry.
Thank you, both of you. I appreciate your candor, and I am honored to ascend to this position.
Very well. And Deneb and Madeline stand up, and they exit out.
Yes. I think after both of them had a small moment where they aided in a way, both of them would be sitting back and watching all of the last things happen, last defenses of Marius happen. I imagined her sitting next to each other. She leans over, puts a hand on his armrest, where his arm is laying, just traces with a finger and says, J'espère que ça t'a plu. Or, as he would know, I hope that you enjoyed that. And I imagine that as they keep talking, it's in French.
Reply. You said you were distasteful in this. Yet you do so well.
No, I said I find it distasteful. That does not mean I cannot do it for you. I have no care whatsoever if there is a chantry here.
Think of what has been built here today, my love. Look at them. So much potential. So much to give.
I
And
only see
these
one
your-
with potential right now, but sure.
I wonder if you and I are thinking of the same individual.
Want to count to 3 and point? No, we're not going to do that.
Tell me your heart, mi amor.
You need to explain a little bit more.
Which one are you watching most closely?
I think out of all of them, Caval has proven the most that he might get somewhere.
An interesting choice. but he is distracted. He has the look in his eye that he'd rather be anywhere else but here.
And that is not something bad, because as much as you would think, otherwise, mon amour, politics are not everything that gives potential.
Yes, but they provide protection, future. They build things. Miss Briany sees that.
She reminds me of someone.
Me as well.
Regardless, it has happened in the past that we have seen potential in different people. You still have to prove that Celeste has it as well. I'm looking forward to the future where we can watch whoever is right in this. After all, we have time to sit back and see them grow.
Indeed we do. And the growth, I think. I wonder which direction they will grow. I've laid some groundwork tonight. Something I think you might find entertaining, despite your distaste for politics.
She gives like a little wave of her hand. And then either way, none of them had taken a single sip yet, and that frustrates me so much. Do they not know how much work it takes to make these? It's like they come out of thin air.
My love, they don't understand. How could they? Your masterpiece is not appreciated. But I will correct this for you.
And then the moment the deal is struck, so to speak, Ezra will stand and speak.
Excellent. Shall we drink to a new deal? Shall we drink to the future of Boston?
Madeline and Deneb, they take a goblet, and all their acolytes, well, Deneb doesn't have any, and they down a shot, hold it up to everyone, down a shot. Before they leave, Madeline sort of looks back and says in general to the room, "We'll be in touch," before they exit, and Deneb closes the door behind him. But the question is, do you all toast?
I'll do it.
I'm gonna roll a die. Good for you.
Fucking Vern.
Arthur not either.
They don't got any fight in them. What do you fucking want from me?
Arthur might have a glass or a goblet or whatever, but it's not touched. It's just still there.
It's Vitae, Vern.
That's gonna piss off my wife.
Supersedes that. Briany can drink for them without having to spend any willpower.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I wanna hit
It's not
something.
coming directly from Azaria's wrist, so it's not gonna blood bond you. So
I just want something that swings back.
So the answer is no.
No.
We can provide that. I can swing back.
I got you.
Yeah.
Just the
You beat your ass
start
first.
beating his ass. Marius, did you drink?
They're actually gonna try to scuttle out with the other chantry heads. Not to talk to them, but to go look for Dejon. Where is he?
Sure, we'll get right to that. The question is, do you drink?
Okay. No.
Okay. Briany?
Gone before the toast.
Yeah.
All right, so Briany
We're
and
playing
Celeste
politics.
are the only ones who toast along Azaria and Ezra.
I want to make a point. I do toast, like glass up. I just don't drink.
Sure.
Well, it's not a full
Sure.
toast if you don't drink. Ask any
That's
German.
Yeah, sure.
Fair enough.
It's very German.
Yeah. So, I will let the coterie, before you scuttle off, Marius, I will let the coterie have any discussion they'd like to have with each other about what just happened, or if there's nothing you want to say at all to each other, then you may, I will allow Marius to scuttle away. Like crap.
I do.
Crap
I
away.
do still want to talk to Celeste.
Okay.
And Vern would like to approach Aaria again.
Okay. Arthur or Marius?
Marius is out and gone, so it'd be...
I'm not letting Marius leave until
Fair.
I get confirmation from everyone.
I don't have anything in particular to talk about, but as the other person paired in, or other people paired in the room that don't have anybody assigned to them, if Marius or Ezra have anything they want to say to Arthur, I am present and available.
And if not, Arthur, you're perfectly capable of walking out with Marius, crab walking out with Marius to go look for Dejon.
I probably should do that.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody has to break the news to him.
Yeah, so you two want to crab walk out. All right, so let's start. Let's start with Aaria and Vern, please.
I think Vern will just approach and then gesture to the pendant around their waist that he so uncouthly smelled earlier. Where'd you get them? I know the smell.
An old opponent once gave it to me.
Who? If that's not too much.
A certain gangrel by the name of Victoria. I don't know where she is these nights. I would think she has gone off to the beckoning. I'm not sure though.
I ran across Victoria's path a few times. She's good people. You're fortunate to have a opponent of such skill. I hope you find another.
You know, if you had asked me centuries ago, I would say that I would have hopes of finding another like that as well. But I don't anymore. Don't have hopes of finding another like her. But who knows? Maybe this world can surprise me and I can find something that comes close to it. Tonight has certainly enlightened me on the nature of certain kindred among us. And old ones can always be surprised by young ones.
You asked me when we got here about Quinton. How bad do you want your second shot, Aaria?
If I had him in the same room as me right now, there would only be one of us walking out. Rest assured it would be me. He has proven once that he doesn't fit the bill. And since we both know Victoria, I'm sure that we can say that Quinton is nowhere even close to uttering the name of Victoria.
I think we know a little differently, but I get the sentiment. The question is, for me, I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're a busy lady with lots of heart floating around.
Walking around, but I get the point.
What would you give for that shot? If I could give it to you, would you take it?
I think the question is more, do you see benefit in me saying that I would gladly take that second shot if it were to be offered to me?
I just want to know what you'd give for it. We can't evade what we are. We're petty creatures. We need things,
Because this conversation is going to tumble over into something that's going to happen in just a second, I'm going to pause that here. Celeste and Briany, you may have your conversation now.
I will walk over to... actually, Celeste, are you sitting? Are you standing? What's the deal, babes?
She stood to toast to Marius. And then drank from the goblet. And is just kind of, messing with the glass. Thinking.
May I join you, dear?
Why, of course.
What do you make of all this?
Happy we were able to help our coterie mate out. But I was surprised by what my sire said.
Yes. He is certainly full of surprises.
Yeah.
He apparently was given information about our little family dinner.
What?
Celeste, is that genuine shock?
Yeah, she
Let's
didn't
find
want
out-
to getting back
Let's
to
find
him.
out. Wits and
okay.
insight. Wits and insight for Briany. I'll only need 2 successes for you to determine that she is genuinely shocked.
I can't do math right now. Holy shit. The brain is mashed potatoes. Yeah, it's 4 successes.
Yeah, she is genuinely shocked.
Celeste Briany looks a little relieved at the genuine shock.
Yeah, she furrows her brow and says, how did he get that?
I'm not sure, dear. But I get the sense that he would like to drive a wedge. Because he left it very open-ended.
That's what he fucking does. Wants me to be in a coterie and then wants me to hate them. Typical.
And that's why I wanted to talk to you first. I understand what we are. I understand that at the end of the day, trust is likely something that will have us all meet our final deaths. But even so, we can get nowhere as an island alone. And I know we don't know each other very well. But I would like to change that. And I don't think we could have managed these past few nights without you. And I mean that.
You know, I think you're the first group of people, Kindred, who treated me like an equal.
I'm glad you feel that way. I'm just sorry we were the first.
Arthur and Marius, you walk out into the main ballroom where there are still many kindred here, and you see Dejon approaching you. Wits and insight for both of you, please.
2.
5. Arthur, you just see that Dejon looks very determined. He's making a beeline right for the conference room. Marius, you can tell that the front of Dejon's shirt with 5 successes is completely soaked. And you for sure, you've known him long enough, you can smell blood. His blood. The front of his shirt is completely soaked. And as he approaches both of you, he pushes past both of you and heads right directly into the conference room. He doesn't acknowledge you. He doesn't look at you. And you may follow him back in there, even call after him if you'd like. He doesn't acknowledge you. The rest of you who are in conversation with each other, you see Dejon Siaka, the Tremere Primogen, enter into the room. Looks a little wild-eyed, and he throws open his shirt, and on his chest he has carved, it looks like he's carved it himself because the lettering is very jagged, the once and future king. And he holds his hand out, and he says, "We have to burn it all down. Burn it all down." And you watch him ignite. Very old thaumaturgy, palm of flame. I need everyone in the room. Fear frenzy check, please. That is your unspent willpower plus 2 dice for your humanity. For Aaria, it's only 1 die. Just as a point of reference.
So unspent. I'm sorry, there's a kitty. Unspent willpower plus the humanity stuff.
2 dice for your humanity. Marius is going to be a terrible roll for you. But because you are behind him, I will only need 1 success. Arthur, I will only need 1 success from you as well.
I got 5. So
5 beats it.
Ew.
Beats it. 1 success. Celeste, not enough. Needed 4 for anyone in front of him. Because it's fire.
Yeah. 5 with a crit.
Okay. Aaria and Ezra. I need 4 or more, please.
4.
Okay. Ezra.
7, and if I could, I would like to make a show of stepping in front of Aaria.
Yes. Aaria, with only 4 successes, your beast immediately rises up in your throat. You want to run, you want to flee. This is fire. Fire he's created in his hand. And Aaria, you let out an involuntary hiss as Ezra steps in front of you. Celeste, you freak out. There's nowhere for you to go in this room, and if you try and move past him, you're going to run closer to the flame. So all of you watch... Yes?
I need to reroll. I'm so sorry, because I forgot that Vern has the alternate.
Oh, you have the
bane,
alt bane.
and
You have the survival
yes,
bane. Yes.
I have
make
to
that
reroll.
reroll.
I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
That's my fault. I need to look at my character sheet more. That subtracts
No, it's
2
because
die.
you took the alt bane. You're just used to doing that to your partner,
Yeah.
not to yourself.
Storyteller, if I
Yes.
got 5 successes on a 1 difficulty, do I have the wherewithal to act on what's happening?
4. Okay. At the moment, let me describe the scene, and then I'll
Sure.
give everyone actions, okay?
Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
That's my fault.
The same as Aaria, Vern, you immediately crouch down on all floors, get very animalistic, and you let out a growl, a hiss towards the fire in Dejon's hand. Celeste, you absolutely panic. You attempt to squeeze yourself into the corner of the room. You start scratching at the walls. You want to get out of this room. You're terrified. You've never been so terrified, except maybe that one time when you were first embraced and you didn't secure your haven appropriately, and you got burnt by the sun a little bit on your arm. That was maybe the other worst time of your life. Who rolled 7 successes? Who was that?
That was Ezra.
Ezra, you may take an action now, as he is gonna fling this thing at you. Do you have any celerity? Did I give you celerity? I don't think so.
No. But I do have something I'd really, really like to use.
Go for it.
Fist of Cain.
Yeah, go for it. Use Fist of Cain. Strength and Brawl, add your dots and potence. Beat 4 successes, as he's gonna throw this ball of flame right at you. And at the room in general. I forgot I gave you that.
I've been staring at it this whole time, honey.
It's 2 rouse checks as well. Let me use it. Let me use Fist of Cain. At the moment, Vern and Aaria are practically feral, hissing at him. If he gets any closer with that fire, they will attempt to flee out of this room.
1 success, 1 failure on the rouse checks, and that is 1, 2, 3, 5. Only 5 successes.
That's enough to beat him, though. So, would you like to describe, since you've stepped in front of Aaria, and Fist of Cain is a level 5 discipline, a level 5 power on a discipline, rather, on potence. Would you like to describe for us exactly what happens in this scene, as you punch Dejon into torpor, essentially?
Yeah, if I could flavor it a little bit to make people confused. I would like to, seeing Aaria scared but not fleeing or anything like that, I would like to position myself very quickly now in front of Celeste and using Fist of Cain as I grip her wrist as if I care. And then, splatter him at the wall facing away from her.
The ball of fire that's in his hand is extinguished as you essentially punch a hole directly through him, and directly through those words in his chest that said, "The once and future king that he carved himself." You've basically made a flesh plug that falls to one side as he falls flat in torpor.
The king is dead.
Good swing.
J'en ai marre de ce roi.
Oh, holy shit.
I'll take out the trash.
Oh, I'll take care of it. That's my side.
Stay here for the moment. No one leaves this room for the moment.
Host has prerogative.
Is that right?
Yes.
You can take the body after we're done talking here.
And all of you can hear the slow-moving Schlachter sentinels approaching this room.
We need to take him before the prince.
Yes, and you can do that when we're done talking here. She moves to the chairs that were situated there. She composes herself. She goes to sit in one again. Now, perhaps it is a good time that we all sit together and talk about Quinton. Wouldn't you say so?
I'm inclined to agree, my love.
I will release Celeste's wrist and give her a look.
Celeste, with the fire extinguished, you are out of your frenzy.
Well, with him being the clear topic of conversation now, I think you're entirely right.
What do you want, Azari?
Can I get a very quick, not Azari and Ezra, wits and occult roll from everyone, please?
Hunger dice, baby.
There
Why
is
not
blood in
us?
this room. If you are hungry, that is your fault.
Stop being picky.
Yeah. No.
Ew.
3.
No, not 2. Sorry, 2 dice. No successes.
Okay.
Just good. Just 2 dice.
Yeah, and that's 3 dice.
Vin
for
just
3
gave a look
successes.
into the camera like, hang on, guys. The amount of occult I have? Sickening. Nice.
4.
Nope, that's good. Marius, what was your Celeste?
4 with the rustic bestial.
Okay. It's not a bestial. So, Marius and Celeste, especially Celeste, you would make the very educated guess that Dejon has been plagued by the voice of Quinton for quite a while now, to the point where it has driven him mad. And Marius is, maybe you didn't notice because he's always angry. He's always frustrated. Now you think about it in the conference room where he was really losing his mind over the prince. That wasn't exactly his style. He doesn't let people in public see him that way.
So, she literally also gestures for everyone to sit. She puts both hands up, pointing towards the chairs, expecting everyone to go sit.
I will step over Dejon to the nearest seat and sit down.
Slowly make my way from the corner to a seat.
Marius is standing in front of Dejon.
Briany will move to sit next to Celeste.
Vern will pull a chair out and bring it over to Marius, and then they will sit on the floor beside Marius.
Perfect.
Get in the fucking chair. We don't have to do this shit.
I'm good. I'm feeling a little squirrely still. Don't worry about it.
So, have all of you been hearing Quinton as well then?
Take mine with a grain of salt. I hear him every day, and I have for decades.
Granted. She's looking at the others.
We talked about this.
He tried.
As I told my sire earlier, yes.
Yes, and he called you his Guinevere, but we will not get into that right now. So, you've all been hearing his voice. I have heard from the lovely Arthur here that you all are in the opinion to take care of him. Is he correct in saying that for all of you?
From what I hear, his reign was... and Briany kind of curls her lip. horror show. I don't think we need that back in Boston.
Sure, he was never fit to rule. He is not fit to rule. He will not ever be fit to rule again. Good, we're in agreement there. I think it is time that he is put to justice. He has ran away once before. He does not deserve to be running around anymore. Do you have, since you have been hearing his voice for some reason, have any leads? Because clearly he did not go after the beckoning.
Well, it all sort of kicked off when we were trying to find Richard. And we found out, actually, this isn't even before we tried to find Richard. We found out that a handful of up-and-coming Sabbat desperately wanted to get their hands on Quinton King and Richard. That was our first clue.
You wouldn't have anything to do with that, would you, Primogen?
Let me make this very clear. I want to be sure that you're all on the same page here. Are we all on the same page? Because Quinton cannot be allowed to rule again.
None of us want
His
that.
reign was not... Are you sure?
Yes.
His
of course.
reign is much more than a horror show. He is unstable. He is not unfit to rule. He is a danger to this city, to everything that is being built now. Quinton King will destroy all of you one by one. And then the city. You cannot handle him yourselves.
Good rant. I was just asking about if you knew anything about the Sabbat pack in town, being that, again, no offense. You're a La Sombra and a Samis, Primogen. Two clans that have been the backbone of the Sabbat for 1,000 years.
And what my question is to all of you is, are you sure that you're on the same page? Because so far, only a few of you have answered.
Would you like a hand count, Primogen?
I would, very much so, yes.
Wonderful. All of us who would rather anybody else besides Quinton King hold the seat of Prince, raise your hand.
Can I insight check him?
You may. Is anyone lying?
No?
Nope.
Not even Celeste?
By technicality, no, she's not lying.
By technicality? Can you expand on that?
I can. No, she doesn't want him to rule. But as I may have spoken of before, if she can use this Guinevere angle to get one up on Ezra, well.
All right. Make me a wits and insight. Celeste, make me a composure and subterfuge, because you're not telling the entire truth.
9 on a crit.
And Ezra.
7 on a crit.
I gave Celeste immensely high subterfuge. So, nope. Everyone seems to be on the same page, Ezra. No one's lying here.
Now, Primogen, if you wouldn't mind, since we've answered your question, while I'm not going to give the same presumptive tone, do either of you know or have any information about this? Did you hear about this? Were you briefed?
To add to the specificity of Arthur's inquiry, did you bring this Sabbat back here?
Wasn't what I asked, but worth answering, I suppose.
To answer both your questions in tandem, no and no. Your predilections is akin to prejudice.
Okay, Ezra, composure, subterfuge, because you obviously got Sky here. Composure, subterfuge, and wits and insight for...
Not the sect card.
Fuck.
9.
Avery.
I kind of cooked here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also sitting on 9 with a messy crit.
9 with a messy crit. Ezra, you're what?
9 in a normal crit.
9 and a normal crit. Alright, so who's got willpower to spend? And I will say for one of you, it's easier to spend willpower for the other because you're going to need it.
I don't have any dice to reroll.
Okay. Ezra?
I will reroll the shit out of this. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
If you want to spend the willpower, reroll.
Fucking 12. All successes on that reroll.
Yep. So, nope, doesn't seem like he's lying.
Okay, so now that we have out of the way that we did not bring the Sabbat here. So, my question, since you have all been hearing him, do you have any leads?
Well, that was the first one. The Space Bun crew of Sabbat. Following that, we know that they were looking for his knights. So I don't know if finding his knights will give us any insight into where he is necessarily, but it'll certainly limit him in power should he actually be trying anything.
I know. We know about a mortal that has been hearing him as well.
Wits and insight, Azaria. Vern, composure, subterfuge, because you do not know that for a fact.
7.
7.
7 and a 1 and a hunger dice.
I am also sitting on 7.
Ezra?
Oh, was I supposed to roll? Fuck, I'm so sorry.
Wits and insight. Azaria, do you have willpower to spend?
Sure.
While they're having this roll, could I possibly ask a question in character?
Yeah.
Primogen, if I may, Primogen Zarya. We heard screaming in the above floors. There's something we should be concerned with.
That one willpower did give me one more, so I'm at 8. So with a 1 and a hunger dice. Do you want me to answer first or wait for the rolls?
Let me get Ezra's roll.
Okay.
7 on the messy. Already spent willpower.
Okay. So increase your hunger one more time, Ezra. And no, Azaria, you can't tell if this is the truth, Ezra, but Azaria, you can. And this is what Vern believes to be true, but he doesn't know it as an objective truth.
She, with all of you bringing up different topics left and right, she seems kind of like a little bit ticked off at this. So she just quickly looks at Marius and she says, "What happens in my abode is none of your business. It is personal business of mine." Anyway, she turns to Vern. She says, "So you believe you know that there is a mortal he is talking to. Do you think this will help you in finding him?"
I think it'll help you in finding him.
Okay, so let me understand. You want me to take everything over from here?
That's not what I said, Primogen.
Perfect. Then explain yourself, Vern.
I don't want to fucking find that bastard. I have no interest in tracking down Quinton King for fucking anybody. He can rot in whatever fucking hole he's in. I don't give a shit. That's my angle. You wanted transparency. What did you say, Ezra? Everybody on the same page. I don't want to fucking find that bastard. Fuck him. Let him rot. But you want him. So I can give you what I got, and if you don't do shit with it, that's on you. Again, pardon my candor.
I will say to Marius and Celeste, with your higher occult roll, it wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility that if Dejon can fall under this influence and be driven mad enough to carve into his own chest, that he might work his way through the whole ivory tower and destabilize everything that you have currently just built.
I was about to say that, honestly.
But that's something Marius and Celeste would know.
So, what you are saying then to me is that indeed you have no reason to go find him, except for the fact that a member of the Ivory Tower just came in here raving, possessed by him in some way, threatening to burn everything down, and that might happen continuously if we do not take care of Quinton.
Again, let me reframe. I don't stand a chance with Quinton. He's already got his hooks in me. I'm a burnt asset. You don't want me dealing with Quinton.
But see, you are a group, a coterie. So perfect that I am not only asking you, but everyone.
Same weak link issue, but sure.
But she's not wrong, with no disrespect whatsoever to either of you, Primogen. With what we just saw here, imagine if Quinton got into either of their heads. It's not a particular party I want to be part of.
This is why the issue must be dealt with quickly. Inaction is not an option here.
I will be as clear as I can be here. You all have a connection right now that I do not, frankly. Which I am fully open to admit that you have the upper leg in finding him above me right now. However, all I can promise you is that I can give you all the assets you need and whatever you require so you can find him. And you can bring him here so he can be put to justice and he can rain no more terror on our minds so that we can actually rebuild our tower instead of having to put bricks back in where they are knocked out.
Well, I can't speak for all of you others, to my coterie, but it's been on my mind for a bit. Something that could be done is the aforementioned Sabbat pack not causing further chaos with us trying to take him as we try to find him. So since neither of you have heard of the Sabbat back, I think you should be about as informed as all the others. A couple of small ones named Sky, Quinn, and Priscilla. And they're just a delightful bunch that want to take him all for themselves as far as I'm concerned. If they could not be a problem, that'd be wonderful.
I second that. I think 2 Primogen could take on 3 Sabbat rats.
But then if they are looking for Quinton, can't you just use them to sniff him out?
We're worried that's what they're doing with us. So either nobody moves or everybody moves.
I'll reach out to my contacts and see what I can find.
God, do I hate a fucking gridlock.
We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. What about the rest of you? Anything else that we can do in this circumstance to actually make this beneficial?
I have one final thing, if I could bring this to the table. We can all agree that, unfortunately, Dejon had made a threat upon all our lives, which is completely unnecessary. Something punishable.
Exactly. And as rightfully already said by you, if you want to right now bring him before the prince, you can. If you want to do that at a later time, you can also, but he will be brought before the prince.
You should do that post
something
haste.
sooner. Oh.
Alright. So, you can take Dejon's body out of here, bring him to the prince yourselves, if that is what you wish indeed. You can do that. However, I would oblige you with whatever help my love can give to you to find Quinton before he can wreak more havoc. If there is anything you need, this door is open. I have already given you a boon as an entire coterie. That one is still standing. However, I can give even more services if you actually bring him here.
This is bigger than debts. This is bigger than hatred. This is for Boston.
Let's start with keeping the Sabbat off of our backs and out of our equations, and we'll go from there.
Agreed. She will stand up. making a motion, kind of like a gesture of this is finished. And she will say, will you need one of my Schlöchter to take the body with you downstairs, or will you handle that yourself?
I got it.
Perfect.
I'll see to it as well. And I'll walk with you, Vern.
Yeah, Vern will just pick up Dejon's plugged out body and toss it over his shoulder.
So, Ezra, you're going to lead them out of the secret back entrance out of this conference room. I imagine you're not going to walk Dejon through the Elysium or the Azaria's domain.
Correct.
À bientôt, les jeunes.
I will grab Vern's arm and hold him so that the rest of the coterie can walk forward.
What do you want?
Despite our differences, Koval, you and I both understand. You and I both know that he is bad for this city. He is bad for everyone he comes in contact with. Azaria does not care for the city, you know this. Tell me that you're not blind.
What do you... Just get to what you want, Ezra. I don't... You know that I can't fuck with Quinton. I don't have that kind of juice. So tell me what you want.
And neither can she.
Neither
She's
can you.
obsessed with vengeance. She's obsessed with a second chance. I will make it very clear to you. Bring him to me. This can all be done with. I will grant you whatever you wish. A major boon. A life debt. Whatever you wish. To me, Koval.
No promises, Ezra. I don't do promises. This work gets messy. People get in the way.
And are you using Submerge Directive, Ezra?
I am.
Okay. That's a rouse check, please. Charisma and Dominate. Vern, Intelligence and Resolve, -2 dice. For your weak willed flaw.
Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. 9 on a crit.
Mhm.
I spent willpower already.
I'm sitting on 10 with the crit, having spent willpower.
All right. So the way Dominate works is that you're not aware that the Submerge Directive does not work. You simply say it, passes into your mind, Vern, and you are aware that he is attempting to dominate you. However, he's not aware that he is not aware that it doesn't work. So whether you want to keep up that facade or not is up to you.
I'll do what I can, Ezra.
Whatever you desire, Koval.
It's an interesting choice of words.
Chosen carefully, and I will leave him.
As you are outside of the House of Durand in the alleyway, Marius, you check your phone immediately as you're outside of the Elysium, with no Camarilla eyes present, and you see that you have 8 missed messages from Lasher.
Calling immediately.
Okay. Call immediately, and Lasher is in a panic, you think? And he says, I thought I should come back. I have looked all over the neighborhood. Junebug is gone.
Okay. I'm on my way. Okay. Just stay there.
No, wait. I talked to the woman. She is awake. She says she was here when Junebug was taken. It's not that she left. She was taken. I talked to the woman, and he hands the phone to Peggy. And Peggy seems very confused, audibly anyway. And she says, who am I talking with?
This is Marius. I'm a friend of Arthur's. My friend was nursing
Is
you.
Arthur there?
Yes, but please tell me what's going on.
The nice nurse lady who's been taking care of me, apparently. Apparently I've been really, really sick and out of it, but
Yes.
These men came in. They were wearing ties and nice shirts, and they took her. She was screaming and yelling, but they had guns and they had crosses. And they took her out of the apartment.
Thank you. Tell Lasher I'll talk to him soon. And just hangs up from there. already blood-soaked face.
Marius?
The church.
Marius.
The church. The church. I got her. I fucked. Shit. We have to go.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Vern?
I know this is a bad time. Marius, you're gonna need some extra juice. And he'll just haphazardly sling Dejon's body down onto the ground.
And not even a second thought, hand down. Like, hands are just in it.
Well, you may attempt it. Roll me strength and resolve.
Hey, y'all.
I would like to keep lookout. I would like to keep lookout and make sure no one sees.
Oh, absolutely. Look out, yes.
It's strength and resolve versus his bane severity.
3 episodes. 3 successes.
3 successes is not enough to surpass his bane severity. So, however, it is not so much of a margin that I would allow him to overtake your body, but you will not successfully diablerize him. But you will kill him. Bring him to final death.
Damn.
I need more than a margin of 1.
That's fair.
And that was a margin of 0.
Does that at least take Marius to 0 hunger?
It takes Marius to 0 hunger, but it does nothing else. Marius's humanity remains the same, and they don't get any special fun. They don't increase their blood potency, and they don't get any special fun other things that I like to give people when they successfully diablerize.
That's a weak-ass diab, but you know... I'll take that other than Dejon coming out of Marius. That would have been so funny.
So Marius, the sire of yours, the sire who has beat you and berated you and told you that you aren't good enough many nights over your short on life, is now rapidly turning into a gooey skeleton here on the street, or in this alley. And before we end our session, I need to know what is going through Marius's mind as this is happening.
He's screaming and beating the skull to a pulp.
Excellent. And that is where we will end episode 7, Dragon and Shadow, for this evening. Thank you, everyone.